In this video, we delve into the intriguing world of leaf beetles, a diverse and captivating family of insects known as Chrysomelidae. With over 37,000 known species, leaf beetles are among the largest and most commonly encountered beetle families on Earth. Join us as we explore their appearance, behavior, ecological roles, and more. We begin by introducing leaf beetles as a family and their classification within the larger beetle order. With the help of stunning visuals and illustrations, we showcase the incredible diversity of leaf beetles, displaying their impressive range of colors, from glossy yellows and reds to shimmering metallic blue-greens. Their captivating appearances, often complemented by spectacularly bizarre shapes, make them highly sought after by insect collectors. Moving on to their physical characteristics, we highlight the typical size range of leaf beetles, which spans from 1.0 to 18 mm in length. We emphasize their distinctive domed or oval-shaped bodies, often adorned with a metallic luster or multiple colors. Detailed close-up shots showcase their unique antennae, which are shorter than the combined length of the head, thorax, and abdomen. We also explore their pronotum, located behind the head, and its varying shapes among different species. Next, we delve into the fascinating aspects of leaf beetles' feeding habits. We explain that both adult beetles and their larvae feed on various plant tissues, emphasizing that some species are notorious pests of cultivated plants, causing significant damage to crops. We highlight specific examples of destructive leaf beetles, such as the Colorado potato beetle and the cereal leaf beetle. Conversely, we shed light on the beneficial role of certain leaf beetles in biocontrol, where they are utilized to manage invasive weeds. Throughout the video, we emphasize the intricate relationship between leaf beetles and the plants they depend on. We describe how adult beetles primarily feed on leaves and flowers of angiosperm plants, while the larvae exhibit diverse feeding strategies. Some larvae are leaf miners, creating tunnels within leaves, while others are external leaf feeders or stem borers. We discuss the unique feeding habits of various subfamilies, including seed-boring larvae in the Bruchinae, gall-forming larvae in the Chrysomelidae, and detritivores in the Cryptocephalaceae. Furthermore, we explore the taxonomy of leaf beetles, highlighting the main subfamilies within the Chrysomelidae family. We introduce each subfamily, including Bruchinae, Cassidina, Chrysomelidae, Cryoseraceae, Cryptocephalaceae, Donaceae, Eumolpinae, Gallerusinae, Lamprosomatinae, Sagrinae, Spiloprinae, and Synetinae. We explain recent reclassifications and the shift of some subfamilies to tribal rank or their recognition as separate families. To provide a comprehensive understanding of leaf beetles, we also touch upon their natural enemies. We discuss predators that target leaf beetle eggs, such as true bugs, hoverflies, and wasps, as well as those that prey on their larvae and adult beetles. We present captivating footage and images of these natural enemies in action, demonstrating the intricate predator-prey dynamics within leaf beetle ecosystems. In conclusion, this video offers a captivating exploration of leaf beetles, highlighting their astonishing diversity, intriguing feeding habits, and ecological significance. With its visually engaging content and informative narration, it serves as an educational resource for insect enthusiasts, nature lovers, and anyone curious about the fascinating. Fact 1. Leaf beetles, belonging to the scientific family Chrysomelidae, represent a remarkable assemblage of insects characterized by their vast diversity and widespread distribution. They encompass an astonishing number of known species, with the current count exceeding 37,000, and it is conceivable that this figure may even rise higher as our understanding of their taxonomy and systematics continues to advance. The family Chrysomelidae, commonly referred to as leaf beetles, stands out as one of the largest insect families. Their impressive species richness places them among the most extensively studied and frequently encountered groups of beetles worldwide. These beetles are known for their affinity for consuming various plant tissues, making them herbivorous insects of significant ecological and economic importance. The taxonomic classification and organization of leaf beetles are subjects of ongoing scientific investigation, with researchers continuously striving to refine and elucidate the relationships within this diverse group. Consequently, the arrangement of subfamilies and genera within the Chrysomelidae family may experience adjustments as new evidence emerges from rigorous research and molecular studies. Leaf beetles display an array of captivating morphological features and ecological adaptations. Their bodies range from small to medium-sized, typically measuring between 1.0 to 18 mm in length, excluding appendages. However, A few species, such as Alornis humoralis, surpass these dimensions, reaching up to 35 mm. In terms of shape, most leaf beetles possess domed or oval bodies when observed from above, although some exhibit a round or elongated form. Many species exhibit a striking metallic luster or vibrant colors, such as glossy yellow, red, or metallic blue-green hues, rendering them visually captivating to human observers. One of the distinguishing characteristics of leaf beetles lies in their tarsal formula. Although it may appear as 4-4-4 at first glance, closer examination reveals that it is actually 5-5-5. This peculiarity arises from the minute size of the fourth tarsal segment, which remains concealed by the third segment. This subtle but significant distinction sets them apart from other related beetle families. Leaf beetles are highly versatile in their ecological roles and interactions with plant species. While some species within this family have gained notoriety as serious pests of cultivated plants, causing considerable damage to agricultural crops, others contribute to the biocontrol of invasive weeds, showcasing their beneficial impact in natural and agricultural ecosystems. Additionally, certain leaf beetles act as vectors of plant diseases, further underscoring their ecological significance. The extensive diversity within the Chrysomelidae family extends to their feeding behaviors and life history strategies. Both adult leaf beetles and their larvae exhibit a remarkable array of feeding adaptations. The larvae, depending on the species, may engage in leaf mining, stem boring, external leaf feeding, or gall formation. These varied feeding strategies enable them to exploit a wide range of plant resources and occupy diverse ecological niches. In conclusion, leaf beetles constitute an expansive and diverse family of insects, encompassing an astonishing number of known species. Their ecological impact, striking morphological features, and intricate interactions with plants make them a fascinating subject of scientific investigation. Ongoing research in the field of leaf beetle taxonomy and systematics will undoubtedly yield new insights and expand our understanding of this captivating group of insects in the future. Fact 2. Leaf beetles are a diverse group of insects renowned for their distinctive feeding habits, which primarily involve consuming various plant tissues, including leaves and flowers. This dietary preference has led to their common name, leaf beetles. The feeding behavior of leaf beetles is not limited to a single plant part but encompasses a wide range of plant tissues and organs, making them important herbivores in terrestrial ecosystems. The affinity of leaf beetles for plant tissues is evident in both their larval and adult stages. Larvae hatch from eggs laid on or near host plants and often exhibit specialized feeding strategies tailored to the specific plant species they inhabit. Some larvae are leaf miners, which means they create tunnels within leaves, feeding on the mesophyll tissue between the upper and lower leaf surfaces. This feeding behavior allows them to derive nutrition from the photosynthetic cells of the leaf. Other leaf beetle larvae are external leaf feeders, consuming leaf margins, veins, or even the entire leaf surface. In certain cases, larvae may also bore into stems, exploiting the nutrient-rich tissues within. Furthermore, some species have evolved a gall-forming lifestyle, inducing the host plant to produce abnormal growths known as galls, within which the larvae feed and develop. As leaf beetles transition into their adult stage, their feeding habits often persist, with a primary focus on plant foliage. The adults continue to consume leaves, grazing on the green tissue and sometimes causing characteristic patterns of feeding damage, such as irregularly shaped holes or skeletonization of leaves. Additionally, some leaf beetle species exhibit a preference for feeding on flowers, extracting nutrients and nectar from the reproductive organs of plants. This behavior not only serves as a source of sustenance for the beetles but can also influence pollination dynamics and plant reproductive success. The ability of leaf beetles to exploit plant tissues as a food source is facilitated by various adaptations. Their mouthparts are specialized for chewing, equipped with strong mandibles that allow them to bite and tear plant tissues effectively. These mandibles enable leaf beetles to consume a wide range of plant structures, from soft leaf tissues to tougher plant fibers. Some leaf beetles also possess adaptations that aid in the breakdown of plant cell walls, such as specialized enzymes or symbiotic gut microbes that assist in the digestion of cellulose and other complex carbohydrates present in plant tissues. The affinity of leaf beetles for plant tissues has both ecological and agricultural implications. While some species act as pests, causing damage to crops and ornamental plants, others play crucial roles in natural ecosystems. Leaf beetles are part of the complex web of interactions between plants and herbivores, influencing plant growth, nutrient cycling, and even plant defense mechanisms. Additionally, they serve as a food source for various predators, contributing to the energy flow within food chains. In conclusion, leaf beetles, scientifically known as Chrysomelidae, are aptly named due to their strong affinity for feeding on different plant tissues, including leaves and flowers. Their diverse feeding strategies, encompassing leaf mining, external leaf feeding, stem boring, and gall formation, highlight their adaptability and ecological significance. Understanding the intricate relationship between leaf beetles and the plants they consume is essential for comprehending the dynamics of herbivora, plant defenses, and ecosystem functioning. Fact 3. Leaf beetles possess a distinctive characteristic that aids in their recognition and differentiation from other beetle families. This unique feature is the tarsal formula, which refers to the arrangement and structure of the tarsi, the terminal segments of the beetle's legs. The tarsal formula of leaf beetles appears as 4, 4, 4, implying that each leg possesses 4 tarsal segments. However, upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that leaf beetles actually have a tarsal formula of 5, 5, 5, with the 4th tarsal segment being considerably smaller and concealed by the 3rd segment. The tarsi of leaf beetles play a vital role in their locomotion, allowing them to cling to plant surfaces, maneuver through vegetation, and interact with their environment. Each tarsus consists of a series of segments, starting from the base of the leg and extending to the claws. In most beetles, including leaf beetles, the tarsus is composed of 5 segments, commonly referred to as tarsomeres. However, the distinctiveness of the tarsal formula in leaf beetles lies in the small size of the 4th tarsomere, which renders it inconspicuous and often hidden from view. The presence of the 5th tarsal segment in leaf beetles, even though it may be easily overlooked, has important taxonomic implications. Taxonomy is the branch of biology concerned with the classification, identification, and naming of organisms. The tarsal formula serves as a characteristic feature that aids in differentiating leaf beetles from other beetle families and contributes to their systematic classification. By examining the tarsal structure, entomologists and taxonomists can identify and assign beetles to the family Chrysomelidae with a higher degree of accuracy. It is worth noting that while the tarsal formula provides a useful diagnostic feature, it is not the sole defining characteristic of leaf beetles. The classification of beetles, including the Chrysomelidae family, relies on a combination of morphological, anatomical, and molecular characteristics. These include aspects such as the shape of the antennae, structure of the pronotum, and the overall body shape and coloration. Therefore, the tarsal formula serves as one of many features utilized in the identification and classification of leaf beetles. Fact 4. The family of beetles displays a remarkable diversity of colors and shapes, making them visually captivating and intriguing. These beetles exhibit a wide spectrum of hues, ranging from glossy yellow and vibrant red to striking metallic blue-green tones. The vivid and varied coloration of leaf beetles serves multiple purposes, including communication, camouflage, and warning signals. The vibrant colors observed in leaf beetles are often associated with their external cuticle, which is the rigid outer covering of the insect's body. The cuticle contains pigments that produce the vivid hues seen in different species. These pigments can be categorized into different classes, such as carotenoids, melanins, and structural colors. Carotenoids are responsible for producing yellow, red, and orange colors, while melanins contribute to darker shades like black and brown. Additionally, some leaf beetles possess structural colors, which arise from the interaction of light with specialized microscopic structures in their cuticle, resulting in iridescent or metallic appearances. The wide array of colors observed in leaf beetles serves various ecological and behavioral functions. One important role is sexual dimorphism, where males and females exhibit distinct coloration patterns. This dimorphism often relates to mate recognition, courtship, and sexual selection. Males may display vibrant colors to attract females, while females may have more subdued hues to blend with their surroundings and avoid predators. Coloration in leaf beetles also plays a role in predator deterrence and defense mechanisms. Some species have evolved bright and contrasting colors, known as aposematic coloration, as a warning signal to potential predators. These colors advertise the presence of toxins or distasteful chemicals within the beetle's body, indicating that they are unpalatable or harmful to predators. By displaying conspicuous colors, leaf beetles discourage predators from attacking, as they associate the vibrant hues with an unpleasant or dangerous meal. In addition to coloration, leaf beetles exhibit a fascinating array of shapes and structures. Some species within the family Chrysomelidae possess peculiar and striking body forms, particularly within the subfamily Cassidina. These beetles often have unique pronotal extensions, spines, or outgrowths that give them a distinctive appearance. These structural adaptations can serve multiple purposes, including defense against predators or parasitoids, camouflage in specific habitats, or even mimicry of other organisms to enhance survival. The extraordinary diversity of colors and shapes in leaf beetles has attracted considerable attention from entomologists and collectors alike. The visually stunning and often intricate patterns exhibited by these beetles make them highly sought-after specimens for insect enthusiasts and researchers studying their biology and evolution. To fully understand the underlying mechanisms responsible for the vast array of colors and shapes in leaf beetles, ongoing scientific research explores various aspects, including the genetics of pigmentation, the developmental processes involved in cuticle formation, and the ecological factors driving color variation. By unraveling the molecular and genetic basis of coloration, scientists can gain insights into the evolution and adaptive significance of these striking features in leaf beetles. Fact 5. Leaf beetles play a significant role in ecosystems as they exhibit both detrimental and beneficial characteristics. While certain species of leaf beetles are notorious agricultural pests causing substantial damage to crops, others have been harnessed for their biocontrol abilities to combat invasive weeds, offering a more sustainable approach to pest management. Among the destructive leaf beetle pests is the Colorado potato beetle. This notorious insect is a significant threat to potato crops worldwide. Both the adults and larvae of the Colorado potato beetle feed voraciously on potato leaves, defoliating plants and significantly reducing crop yield. The economic impact of this pest is substantial, as it necessitates costly insecticide treatments to minimize crop losses. Another pest species of leaf beetle is the cereal leaf beetle. This beetle inflicts damage on cereal crops, particularly wheat, barley, and oats. The larvae of the cereal leaf beetle consume the foliage, resulting in reduced photosynthetic capacity and lower grain production. Crop losses due to this pest can be substantial, affecting agricultural productivity and profitability. Despite the destructive nature of some leaf beetle species, there are also beneficial members within the family Chrysomelidae that are employed in biocontrol programs. Biocontrol involves the utilization of natural enemies to manage pest populations, reducing the reliance on chemical pesticides and promoting sustainable pest management practices. Certain leaf beetles have demonstrated effectiveness in the biocontrol of invasive weeds. These beetles are carefully selected and introduced into areas where invasive plants are a significant concern. By feeding on the targeted invasive weeds, these biocontrol agents help suppress their growth, reproduction, and spread. This approach offers a more environmentally friendly and long-term solution to weed management. One example of a leaf beetle employed in biocontrol is the flea beetle. Flea beetles are small, agile insects known for their jumping behavior. Several species of flea beetles have been utilized to control invasive weeds, such as leafy spurge and purple loosestrife. These beetles feed on the leaves and stems of the invasive plants, weakening and reducing their vigor over time. The biocontrol approach utilizing leaf beetles involves thorough research and evaluation to ensure the target species is specific to the invasive weed and will not harm native plants or beneficial organisms. Careful consideration is given to the compatibility of the biocontrol agent with the target environment, climate, and other factors that may influence its establishment and effectiveness. Biocontrol programs employing leaf beetles require ongoing monitoring and assessment to gauge the success of the approach and make any necessary adjustments. This includes evaluating the population dynamics of both the biocontrol agent and the target weed, as well as monitoring the impact on non-target organisms and ecological interactions. Fact 6. Leaf beetles exhibit a diverse range of feeding habits, particularly among their larvae. This family of insects encompasses various species that engage in different feeding strategies, including leaf mining, stem boring, external leaf feeding, and gall formation, all of which depend on the specific characteristics and adaptations of each species. Leaf mining is a feeding habit observed in certain leaf beetle larvae. These larvae create tunnels or mines within the leaf tissue, feeding on the parenchyma cells that lie between the upper and lower leaf surfaces. As they feed and grow, leaf miners leave distinct patterns of serpentine, linear, or blotch mines on the leaves, which can be indicative of the presence of specific leaf beetle species. The mining behavior of these larvae provides them with protection from predators and environmental conditions. Some leaf beetle larvae are stem borers, meaning they tunnel and feed within the stems of plants. Stem borers create galleries within the plant's vascular tissues, where they extract nutrients and cause damage to the plant's structural integrity. This feeding habit can weaken the host plant, leading to stunted growth, wilting, and sometimes death. Stem-boring larvae often target the stems of herbaceous plants or young shoots of woody plants, utilizing their specialized mouthparts to access the nutritious plant tissues. External leaf feeding is another feeding strategy employed by certain leaf beetle larvae. Instead of tunneling inside the leaves or stems, these larvae remain on the external surface of the plant and feed directly on the leaf tissue. They use their mouthparts to chew and consume the leaf material, resulting in characteristic feeding patterns such as notches, holes, or skeletonization of the leaves. The extent and pattern of damage inflicted by external leaf feeders can vary among species, and some larvae may display preferences for specific plant species or parts. Galling is a unique feeding habit observed in certain leaf beetle larvae. Gallers induce the formation of galls, which are abnormal growths or structures on plant tissues. These galls serve as specialized habitats that provide nutrition and protection to the larva. Gall formation is a result of the interaction between the larva and the plant's physiological response. The larvae release chemical signals or induce physical damage to the plant, prompting the plant to grow the gall structure around them. The larvae then feed on the gall tissues, which often differ in morphology and chemical composition from the surrounding healthy plant tissues. The diversity of feeding habits among leaf beetle larvae reflects their adaptations to different ecological niches and plant hosts. These feeding strategies have evolved to exploit specific plant resources and provide the larvae with the necessary nutrition and protection. The variations in feeding habits within the Chrysomelidae family contribute to the ecological interactions between leaf beetles and their host plants, shaping the dynamics of plant-herbivore interactions in diverse ecosystems. Understanding the feeding habits of leaf beetle larvae is crucial for studying their impact on plant health, agricultural ecosystems, and natural habitats. It enables researchers to develop effective pest management strategies, conserve native plant species, and utilize leaf beetles in biocontrol programs. Further research is needed to explore the physiological and molecular mechanisms underlying the diverse feeding habits observed in leaf beetle larvae and their ecological implications. Fact 7. Leaf beetles are a diverse family of insects that are further classified into several subfamilies based on their morphological characteristics and evolutionary relationships. These subfamilies include Brucinae, Cassidina, Chrysomelidae, Criocerinae, Cryptocephalinae, Donocyanae, Eumolpinae, Gallerusinae, Lamprosomatidae, Sagrinae, Spiloprinae, and Synetinae. Each subfamily represents a distinct group of leaf beetles with unique features and ecological roles. Brucinae is a subfamily commonly known as beanweevils or seed beetles. They are characterized by their association with legume seeds, where the larvae bore and feed on the developing seeds. Many adult Brucinae beetles also feed on pollen, often not necessarily from their larval host plants. Cassidina, also known as tortoise beetles, include the former subfamily Hispinae. They are recognized by their distinctively shaped and often highly ornamented elytra. The larvae of Cassidina exhibit various feeding habits, including leaf mining, stem boring, and external leaf feeding. Some species within this subfamily are important agricultural pests, while others are utilized in biological control efforts. Chrysomelidae, or broad-bodied leaf beetles, primarily feed on plant leaves as both adults and larvae. However, certain species within this subfamily may also feed on flowers. They are characterized by their domed bodies and metallic luster, with colors ranging from glossy yellow to red or metallic blue-green hues. Criocerinae, also referred to as asparagus beetles and lily beetles, are known for their association with specific plant hosts such as asparagus and lily plants. The larvae of Criocerinae beetles typically exhibit leaf mining behavior or external leaf feeding. Cryptocephalinae, which include the former subfamilies Chlamycinae and Clitorinae, are cylindrical leaf beetles and warty leaf beetles. They often display bright colors and peculiar shapes, making them popular among insect collectors. The larvae of Cryptocephalinae can be detritivores, feeding on leaf litter, or exhibit myrmecophily, living in ant nests and feeding on dead plant or animal matter. Donocyani, or longhorned leaf beetles, are semi-aquatic beetles whose larvae feed on the sap of aquatic plants' roots. They obtain both food and oxygen from the plant's intercellular spaces. Adult Donocyani beetles primarily feed on the leaves of aquatic plants. Eumolpini, known as oval leaf beetles, are characterized by their oval-shaped bodies. The larvae of Eumolpini beetles typically feed on plant roots, and the adults often consume plant leaves. Galarucinae, which include the former subfamily Alticinae, encompass a wide range of leaf beetles with varying feeding habits. Some Galarucinae larvae live in the soil and feed on rootlets, while others exhibit leaf mining behavior or external leaf feeding. Lamprosomatinae larvae primarily feed on green plant parts or graze on bark. The adult beetles are often brightly colored and may possess intricate patterns on their elytra. Sagrinae, also known as frog-legged beetles or kangaroo beetles, are characterized by their unique morphology, including enlarged hind legs that resemble the legs of a frog or kangaroo. The larvae of Sagrinae beetles form galls within the stems. Fact 8. The taxonomy and systematics of leaf beetles are subjects of continuous research and investigation. Scientists strive to understand the evolutionary relationships, genetic variations, and morphological characteristics of leaf beetles to develop an accurate classification system. As new information emerges from scientific studies, classifications may undergo revisions and updates. The process of classifying leaf beetles involves examining their anatomical features, genetic sequences, and ecological relationships. Researchers utilize various methods, such as morphological analysis, DNA sequencing, and phylogenetic studies, to decipher the intricate relationships between different leaf beetle species and their subfamilies. The primary goal of taxonomic research is to identify and classify leaf beetles into distinct groups based on their shared characteristics and evolutionary history. This involves assigning scientific names to different species, as well as grouping them into higher taxonomic categories like subfamilies, genera, and tribes. The classification system provides a framework for understanding the diversity and evolutionary relationships among leaf beetles. However, due to the complex nature of biodiversity and the continuous discovery of new species, the taxonomy of leaf beetles remains a dynamic field. Ongoing research uncovers previously unknown species, reveals new morphological traits, and provides insights into the genetic diversity within the family Chrysomelidae. These advancements in knowledge can lead to the reevaluation and reclassification of leaf beetles. In recent years, molecular techniques and advanced analytical tools have revolutionized the field of taxonomy. DNA sequencing has enabled researchers to unravel the genetic relationships among leaf beetles, providing valuable information about their evolutionary history and phylogenetic connections. These molecular studies have allowed scientists to refine the classification of leaf beetles and propose revised taxonomic groupings. Moreover, as researchers investigate leaf beetles from different geographic regions and explore their ecological interactions, new insights into their classification and systematics emerge. The discovery of convergent evolution, cryptic species, and the role of host plants in speciation further complicates the classification process. To ensure the accuracy and validity of taxonomic classifications, scientists employ rigorous peer review and critical evaluation of the evidence supporting any proposed changes. Collaborative efforts among taxonomists and the integration of multiple data sources contribute to the advancement of our understanding of leaf beetle taxonomy. Fact 9. Leaf beetles exhibit a variety of distinctive physical features that set them apart from other beetle families. These characteristics contribute to their recognition and identification within the scientific community. One notable physical feature of leaf beetles is their body shape. Most species of leaf beetles have domed or oval-shaped bodies when viewed from above. This characteristic is observable in the dorsal view, giving them a distinct appearance. However, it is important to note that some species may deviate from this general body shape and exhibit a round or elongated form. Another characteristic used in distinguishing leaf beetles is the length of their antennae relative to the head, thorax, and abdomen. In most specimens, the antennae are notably shorter than the combined length of these body segments. This feature aids in differentiating leaf beetles from other related beetle families. The antennae of leaf beetles consist of several segments. While the second segment is of normal size, the subsequent segments are generally more or less equal in shape. In some subfamilies, such as Galarucinae, there may be modified segments, primarily observed in males. It is worth mentioning that the first segment of the antenna is usually larger than the following ones. The pronotum, a prominent part of the thorax, also exhibits variation among leaf beetles. In most species, the pronotum is slightly to highly domed and assumes a trapezoidal to rounded squarish shape when viewed dorsally. However, in certain subfamilies like Cassidina and Cryptocephalinae, the pronotum covers the head, rendering it invisible from an overhead perspective. Furthermore, leaf beetles possess unique tarsal characteristics that aid in their identification. The tarsal formula, which refers to the arrangement of segments in the tarsi, may appear as 4, 4, 4 initially. However, it is actually 5, 5, 5, with the fourth tarsal segment being very small and concealed by the third segment. This subtle distinction distinguishes leaf beetles from other beetle families. It is important to note that while these physical features are generally characteristic of leaf beetles, variations can occur among species, and exceptions may exist. Therefore, comprehensive studies and detailed examination of multiple specimens are essential for accurate identification and classification within the family Chrysomelidae. Fact 10. Leaf beetles play a significant ecological role and contribute to our understanding of herbivorous insects, pest management, and the intricate relationships between insects and plants in ecosystems. Studying leaf beetles provides valuable insights into the dynamics of plant-insect interactions and helps inform strategies for sustainable agriculture and ecosystem management. Leaf beetles are primarily herbivorous insects that have evolved various adaptations to feed on plant tissues. Their feeding behavior and preferences have direct implications for plant health and survival. By studying the feeding habits of leaf beetles, scientists can gain a deeper understanding of plant defense mechanisms and the impact of herbivora on plant growth and reproduction. The interactions between leaf beetles and plants are complex and multifaceted. Leaf beetles have co-evolved with plants, leading to intricate relationships that shape both the beetles and the plants they feed on. Some leaf beetles exhibit a high degree of specialization, feeding exclusively on specific plant species or even specific parts of plants. This specialization can influence plant community composition, population dynamics of both beetles and plants, and overall ecosystem structure. Leaf beetles can also act as pests in agricultural systems. Certain species, such as the Colorado potato beetle and cereal leaf beetle, have become notorious agricultural pests, causing significant damage to crops. Understanding the biology, behavior, and population dynamics of these pest species is crucial for developing effective management strategies to minimize crop losses and economic damage. On the other hand, some leaf beetles have shown potential as biological control agents for managing invasive weeds. These beetles can be introduced into ecosystems where non-native plant species have become invasive and disruptive to native flora. By feeding on and damaging the invasive plants, the beetles help restore balance and biodiversity in the ecosystem. However, careful evaluation and monitoring are essential to ensure that the introduced beetles do not become pests themselves or negatively impact non-target plant species. Leaf beetles are also important indicators of environmental health and ecosystem functioning. Their presence, abundance, and diversity can reflect the overall health and stability of ecosystems. Changes in leaf beetle populations can indicate disturbances in habitat quality, land use changes, or the effects of climate change. Monitoring leaf beetle populations can provide valuable data for assessing the impacts of environmental changes and informing conservation efforts. In conclusion, leaf beetles, with their diverse species, fascinating adaptations, and ecological roles, are a captivating group of insects that have captured the attention of scientists and nature enthusiasts alike. Their affinity for feeding on various plant tissues, distinctive physical features, and wide range of colors and shapes make them a subject of interest and research. Studying leaf beetles not only expands our knowledge of insect taxonomy and systematics but also provides insights into the intricate relationships between insects and plants in ecosystems. Their feeding habits, both as pests and beneficial insects, have direct implications for agriculture, pest management, and the delicate balance of ecosystems. By understanding leaf beetle biology and behavior, we can develop effective strategies to mitigate crop damage caused by pest species while also harnessing the potential of certain leaf beetles as biocontrol agents for invasive weeds. Leaf beetles also serve as indicators of environmental health and ecosystem functioning. Monitoring their populations and diversity can shed light on the impacts of environmental changes, habitat quality, and the overall stability of ecosystems. This knowledge is crucial for conservation efforts and sustainable ecosystem management. As our understanding of leaf beetles continues to evolve through ongoing research and discoveries, it is important to recognize their significance in the broader context of insect biodiversity and ecological dynamics. By unraveling the mysteries of leaf beetles, we gain valuable insights into the intricate web of life on Earth and the interconnectedness of species within ecosystems. Appreciating the beauty, diversity, and ecological roles of leaf beetles encourages us to value and conserve our natural world. These small yet remarkable creatures remind us of the complex and delicate balance that sustains life on our planet. By protecting their habitats and understanding their ecological significance, we contribute to the preservation of biodiversity and the sustainable coexistence of all species.